Hello people, Shift Your Mindset here with a new episode. This time we're gonna talk about knowledge, because knowledge is power. Just a few facts about Jehovah's Witnesses. Just a few, because I don't wanna make a list too long. So just a few who I highlighted. Did you know that about 70,000 people a year are being disfellowshipped or leave the religion? You don't see that numbers on the JW website or at the annual numbers they produce. They only produce the good numbers, how many are baptized, how many Jehovah Witnesses are there worldwide, whatever. But more than 70,000 people a year are leaving the organization. And why? Because they obtained knowledge. Knowledge about the organization you're in. Very important one to remember. Also a fact is when you leave, you lose your family, your siblings, your friends, the whole community you're in. Another fact is, according to the Jehovah Witnesses, this time, Jehovah Witnesses are the happiest people on earth. I want you to research it, because knowledge is power. You see that there's a high percentage of mental disorders in that religion. Just like Scientology, etc. The mental disorder percentages are very, very high in the Jehovah Witnesses. And I've seen it with my own eyes in our branch in the Netherlands, how many people in Bethel were drinking, were on medicines, on antidepressive, how do you call it, antidepressiva? Just for anxieties and all that stuff, because they have to keep up their reputation, they have to keep up that they are joyful and they're doing the good work, but they're tired. So they're taking a lot of medication, but also a lot of wine, beer, whatever. People aren't that happy as it seems on the outside. Jehovah Witnesses believe in 6 words. We are right, you are wrong. That's a summary of being a Jehovah Witness. We are right, the rest is always wrong. Another fact is, doesn't matter how old you are, 20, 30, 40, 50, if you are dating, you need a chaperone. It's mind-boggling for me. Now I left the organization, that's still a thing. The other thing is, college is bad. Studying is bad. We don't want you to get too smart, people, so don't go to college. We have a better idea. Join us and work for free in our organization. With all the free labor, we can make money because we're selling the buildings for a higher price, and then we can make money and we can have a better lifestyle at the headquarters. So they also isolate you from the world. So knowledge is very powerful, because in the beginning you don't know that you are being isolated from the whole world. Because if you don't know what's going outside of your borders, you don't know what's going on inside. So they want you to keep away from the news, you want to keep you away from the internet, Don't research stuff, don't go to college, because if you go to college, you learn to think for yourself. You learn to trust yourself and be self-reliant. They don't want that, because if you are thinking, then you're definitely gonna ask questions, and they don't like being questioned about everything. So it's like when you're a Jehovah Witness, you're born in a mansion of 100 rooms or 1,000 rooms, and you only live in one room. That's the room you were born in, and the only way to leave that room is to die. So, as a Jehovah Witness, you spend your whole life in one room, not knowing that there are 100 rooms in that mansion. You're being a JW for the rest of your life, waiting for a paradise. A paradise that isn't that certain. It's a hope we have, a faith, belief we have in something we don't know if it's gonna happen or not. And the odds are against it, because all the predictions about 1975, 1925, 1914, all those predictions are out of the window, because every time they adjust their predictions. It's right around the corner. It's the last days of the last days of the last days, so I don't know what's going on with that, but people are slightly start to lose faith that it's gonna happen in this lifetime. Even my dad, who is in his 70s now, isn't that sure anymore that he's gonna experience Armageddon. He hoped for Armageddon his whole life. He went through 1975 where the end was there. Now we're already 50 years later, and now he's losing his faith that he will survive Armageddon because he's getting too old. But we spend our whole life in that one dark room, not knowing that there's more. But there are more rooms, and if you stay with me, I can show you how to get out of that one room as a JW, and even get the keys to the front door of the mansion and walk out of the mansion. Because life is giving us endless possibilities only if we want to see it. And therefore we have to have knowledge, because that's power. To get out of that prison of our limitations. That's the goal. How do we do that? You have to rewrite your contract with reality. What do I want to perceive in this life? Think about it. Also, if you are JW and you're watching this, what do I want to perceive? Which guarantees I have? Do you have the guarantee that you will live in a paradise? Did you even experienced it before? No, no one has. So no one can give you that it's certain that you will live in a paradise. So why are we still being detained in an organization, but we don't know what's gonna happen? You also don't know what's happening here in life. I also don't know what tomorrow will bring me. But I think we have to explore everything in life. Being a good person doesn't mean you have to be stuck in a religion. You can also love God from outside the organization. You can still be a good person. Every day I'm trying to give more love to others than I receive. It has nothing to do with in which religion you are. So what do you want to perceive in life? ask that question, because if you have a passion, if you want to do something, do it. If you're not harming other people, but do it, because life is too beautiful, life is too precious to just waste to being stuck in a religion and controlled by leaders who are definitely toxic for your mental being. Second of all, we have to shift out of the things we came to believe in. Because most of the things I believed in came from the outside world. Was handed to me by the governing body, was handed to me by my parents, by my teachers, by the elders in the congregation. Everything was handed for me from the outside world. Always by someone else, outside of me, outside of you. Because if it comes outside of you, there's always a possibility there's doubt. And that isn't bad, but it keeps you from reaching higher levels. And that's what the governing body wants. They want only their information sent to you, and they decide what is good for you. No thinking of your own. But we have to shift that thought, because otherwise we only believe in things from outside of us. When doubt expands, that keeps you into the organization. So you don't rely on your own capabilities. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what I experienced, because I had a lot of capabilities, but they always toned it down. And they always said to me, you have to follow, you don't have to raise your voice for doing it like that or like that. We do it like this and we expect you to follow. Why? No, just follow. God is love, Sven. God is love. Do it like this. Don't ask questions. Just follow. So, my tip for today is rely on your own capabilities. You are capable of doing everything you want. We all are magnificent creatures, full of energy, and we can do whatever we want. So trust your own capabilities. You have to shift from believing something to knowing something. I know how to ride a bike. I know how to swim. Why? Because I did it. I jumped into the water. I tried my best, and eventually I could swim, and I know it. I don't have to believe in something anymore when I get into the car and I drive to the mall. It's a habit of me, it's a automatic feeling. It just goes. I know how to ride the bike. I know how to drive the car. So knowing is key for your knowledge. So knowing about a certain thing is research also about certain things. Why? Because another good one is thinking about everything because of your thoughts. Everything in life, what we see, what we have, are coming from our thoughts. The shoes, the clothes I'm wearing, your coffee machine, everything was created by thoughts, true thoughts. So why should we limit our thoughts only to what someone else outside of us is telling us to believe? Do you believe it? Or are you told to believe something? Only the teaching of Jehovah is allowed. That thought only is allowed within the perimeters of the JWs. Because if they are certain about Jehovah Witnesses and that's the only religion that's going to survive Armageddon, why aren't you allowed as a JW to research the internet about anything you want? Tell me. Why? If you don't have to fear your religion, if you are 100% certain that you are the one and only religion in the world that has God's approval, why aren't you allowed to research outside of the organization? Maybe someone knows, let me know in the comments. Because if you are 100% sure that this is the best religion there is, nothing, but nothing somebody says to you will shake your foundation. Same with me. If I'm walking down the street and someone is calling me names, I don't even listen, I don't even react. Why? Because it doesn't bother me. No one can control my thoughts. And my thoughts is, hey, I'm happy with myself. So no one can shake my foundation. So why aren't you allowed to investigate into your own religion, what the world around it says about it? Because they only want you to swallow the news or the things they put on their website. Yeah, we hope Norway is coming to his senses because they want to take away our, how do you call it, our grant. Because Jehovah Witnesses get a certain amount of money, I believe $1.5 million a year for free. But they aren't telling you why they are stopping with paying you that money. Because you have a policy in place about shunning people. About people who want to take another journey in life, want to follow another path, not harming anyone, not doing crazy stuff, but you get disfellowship for not complying with the rules, for smoking a cigarette, for workout too much. If sport is your number one priority and not Jehovah God, you get disfellowshipped. I know someone who is disfellowshipped for being busy with sports. And on the other hand, you have someone who is famous, carrying an Olympic torch at the Olympic Games. And I bet you they never get disfellowshipped for even do that. And me, I had to stop with my sports when I was a teenager because it was taking too much time, because the elders went to my parents and said that I was too focused on playing tennis. And my parents decided to obey them, and I had to stop with my passion, and that was playing tennis, because it was too much hours a week. And I missed the service meeting one time. But on the other side of the world, someone is carrying an Olympic torch into the Olympic Games. I don't know if you see the opening of the Olympic Games. It was like, oof, bad people. It's everything from Babylon the Great was displayed, but someone carrying a torch is okay. They never get disfellowshipped. I think because they're famous and they're donating a big amount of money, but that's why it's important to have knowledge. That's why it's important that you can do your research on the organization. And they warn you about apostate, but what's an apostate? Are you an apostate for just stating the facts? If you see the letter to elders where they're begging for donation money for a certain amount a month per publisher, the elders have to write it down, have to talk to all the men in the congregation. What is it what you and your family can donate every month? And they add it to each other, and then there's a certain amount, and that amount goes to the branch every month and then goes to the headquarters. So that's all facts. You can read it in the Book of Elders, you can read it on the internet, you can read it with the letter for elders, everything is out in the open. So besides the opinions of the people who left the organization, you still can research the facts. And the facts aren't lying. It's also a fact in the Book of Elders that if an elder committed a sin, but it's a little while ago that that sin occurred, that he can still function as an elder. But you and me, when we were the rank and files in the congregation, whatever sin it was, how little we had to confess to the elders. It's crazy. It's double standards. There are some people who definitely are above the law. So people, knowledge is power. If you're out, research it. If you're in, research it even more. Because what you think you believe in and what you know are two different stories. Good luck everybody with researching it, with building up your knowledge. Get that college degree if you didn't have it already. Get into life with full passion, pursue your dreams, and we'll see each other next time. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you like this video and let me know what you think about it in the comments. Have a nice day everybody.